The greatest skin to ever be in this game is about to be released this patch. Dark Cosmic Erasure Jhin, or Eraser Jhin if you want to go that route, because he's about to erase some people's wallets when they go all in for him. It's funny, let's spend $200 or let players spend $200 for something that's very niche and player specific, but let's remove entire game modes because they're not played by only but a niche amount of players and very specific. It is a nice, I am red biased though. It's like visually it's a nice skin, but buddy, Riot. For today's episode of Let's Talk Jinx, we're going to be talking about the patch notes, patch 13.17. Really quick before though, we're going to be talking about the new champion. It has officially dropped, as in there's trailers now for their abilities, what they look like on the Rift, a cinematic trailer. We've seen the splash art floating around for a while, which is what this is. I'm going to zoom, oh, that's zooming in way more than I wanted. But the point is, the reason we're bringing this up in a Jinx video is because the one behind this champion is also the one behind Jinx. And so I thought that was interesting to bring up. So we've already seen quite a bit of conversation around this champion for various reasons. I'm going to be honest, I care very little about any reason outside of what they do on the Rift specifically, because they're either probably killing me very well or one of my teammates is playing them and they're killing the enemy team very well, as with most released champions and how powerful they are, feat or otherwise. As for the patch, there are no changes to Jinx directly, but there are some changes to a few other champions that might affect Jinx in the laning matchup, and maybe we'll talk about some other champions that might affect Jinx's ability to play the game, depending on how powerful they are too. Like for example, Akshan is more of a mid laner, so you probably won't deal with him in the bot lane exclusively in the Jinx like versus Akshan, bottom lane matchup. But just in case people like him as a marksman down there and you see him down there, because his health growth is being increased, armor growth is being increased, and attack damage growth is being increased. And one of the things they did to Tristana last patch was of course increase her armor, so make her more, and actually weaken her magic resist at that, to make her more of a viable bot laner than mid laner. I don't think that's what they're going for Akshan here. It looks like the build path has moved away, and so they're trying to adjust things based on what he's building now. But just in case people see armor growth and go, I can trade with AD carries in the bottom lane better, I'm going bottom lane. That's a heads up for y'all. Like, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I get there's a lot of conversation around the feat of this champion for whatever reason. The only care and investment I have in those feat is how they're either kicking my face in or kicking my enemy's face in on the Rift because of damage and dying and feeding. That's about it. Blitzcrank across the board is getting buffs except for his attack speed ratio. It's technically going down, but that's also with the attack speed, base attack speed, going up. Magic resist is going up, so you can carry and go after mages even. Base health is going up, so he's a little bit tankier. So if you're in the bottom lane and you're playing with a Blitzcrank, it's kind of a little bit of a classic Jinx Blitzcrank lane, kind of like Jinx Thresh in that regard. But playing against a Blitzcrank, the thing I always bring up is his hook cooldown. It's like a good 20 seconds, especially at like rank 1. Even when you start leveling up, I think it's still 12 seconds. So if you make a Blitzcrank miss a hook, he goes forward, misses the hook, you have a good 12 to 20 seconds to punish him with rockets, with auto attacks, with whatever. Now when I say punish him, I don't mean just trade with him for the full 20 seconds, but I do mean you can poke him like a good 2, 3, 4 times with some rockets and then back away, and then just constantly do that over the laning phase, and eventually that Blitzcrank's gonna be punished and feel bad, I should say, by missing those hooks over and over, because you're trading their health for their missing hooks and you're kind of winning the lane that way. If you're playing with a Blitzcrank, have those Flame Chompers ready. Try and chain the CC instead of stacking it, so wait till he does the uppercut and stuff too, don't like immediately on the hook, because you'll be able to extend the duration the enemy is CC'd longer if you can chain that together. And like, we're not even going to talk about hands. Like, as an artist, like, okay, I won't get into it too much, it's a Jinx video, but I will say, as someone who draws on occasion my own self, the hardest thing for me to draw is hands, feet, and faces. And so, you know what, at least this artist that did this splash art could at least draw those. I can't. Samira's base health is being increased, and they're the final champion on the list of marksmen who lost some durability recently, apparently. Not in the Soul Fighters mode, but obviously in the regular Rift, which matters more. So if base health is being increased, one of the things to look out for, it is going up by 30. 30 isn't too terribly much, especially once you start getting crit, but the difference is Samira can be a bit more of a lane bully, but right now she feels a bit too squishy, especially with shield bow, without shield bow I should say, being a thing. And also we could talk about that in another video, but also a quick note in this video is they are removing mythic items come January. So the build for Jinx, and really like everybody, is about to be shaken up in a couple months. So probably some of these buffs and things you might be seeing across the next couple of patches, whether it's for Jinx or other AD carries, might be in relation for them gearing up for being like, hey, Some mythic items are just going to go back to not being mythic items. Other items are saying they're going to be removing entirely. So certain changes we're going to see that might be a little bit weird, maybe not even broken, but weird, is probably going to be literally because they are pre-planning what it's going to look like when they remove X item for a certain amount of champions. So Samira might not be all that squishy, but because Shield Bow might be the mythic item that's about to be removed when it comes to Marksman, they're going to slowly kind of buff Samira up to accommodate for the buffs and stats you get from that item. It's like Kai'Sa all over again. I really didn't care when Kai'Sa came out of the void and people were like, she's too sexy. I'm like, yeah, on the Rift that sexiness is not going to matter unless she's clapping me with those cheeks, and that's a killing method. Because I'm not even talking about it in like a good way, I'm talking about like in a bad way. You know how much flame you're going to get if you get killed to this champion because of this now? Probably a lot. Let's be real. We're just going to mention that Vi is getting changed purely because Jinx and the new champion are August champions, and Vi is also an August champion if you did not know that. The passive shield health scaling is increased, the W cooldown reduction is being increased, and the E cooldown is decreased, the R damage is decreased. Basically, if you've seen pro play, Vi has been like a year-long jungler, and it's fantastic. So of course I'm going to nerf her right before Worlds, which sucks. I'd rather see Vi just make it the whole year through at this point, you know? A little bit of familiarity. But okay, that's just my August champ bias kind of showing through. Truthfully, I'm more interested in this thing that her hands are locked in that's above her head. That looks sick. Bloodthirster is getting changed if you build this item on Jinx, where the health requirement for bonus AD was above 50%, it's going up to now above 70%. In case you build Static Shiv on Jinx, like the Static Shiv Rapid Fire Cannon combo, the bonus damage against champions is going from 100 and 180 based on level plus 30 AP to 180 based on level plus 15% AP. It's really just for the magic damage users that are using it, and like mixed builds. Honorable mention to Cosmic Paladin Nautilus, because Nautilus could be a support player, so you might be playing with or against some Nautiluses in your games, as well as Dark Cosmic Erasure Jhin, which you won't be playing with or against in your games, because that thing costs $200. Good luck. That's going to be all from this video from me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So until this time, take care. ggGetJinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly. They reworked Caitlyn's splash art, and still they have her in this particular art with her whole entire thighs just hanging out. But you couldn't get Shyvana's thigh right over here, which Ezreal wants to kiss. I'm just loading this whole video up with references if you're still watching at this point. Brahm's still really cool.